Hi everyone, Nareshkumar, Assistant Professor, belongs to the Department of Computer Applications in Arignar College at Krishnagiri. Today we discuss about the topic deadlock, which may present in the operating system. So what is deadlock? A deadlock occurs when two or more processes are stuck waiting indefinitely for resources that are held by other processes, which are themselves waiting for the resources held by the first set of processes. So it is a classical problem in concurrent system that can lead to system paralysis. So let me tell some example. You just imagine two trains are on a single track facing each other. Neither can move forward without the other backing up. Yet both are programmed to only move forward. This scenario preferably illustrates a deadlock. So this situation, a state where processes are halted, unable to proceed because each requires a resource held by another. So the core problem, why deadlock happens? So the resource cycle. So process with an operating system topically follow a cycle of requesting. So using and then releasing the resources. So deadlock arises when the cycle is disrupted, specifically when process acquires some resources and then wait for others, leading to a circular dependency. So the three conditions or three terms we need to represent why deadlock may happen. The first one, request. So request, a process asks for the resource. A process may be asked for the resource. The resource may be a printer or memory block or a file. And then the resource may use in condition, the process utilize the resources for its task. Once the process can finish their work and then the resource will be released. So the release is the process frees the resource, makes it available for others. So in this situation, deadlock happens when a process holds a resource, preventing others from using it, and simultaneously wait for another resource that is currently held by another process. In this situation, it may be called as a deadlock. In multiple processes enter this state, forming a chain where each link needs something from the next. A system-wide standstill can occur. The four necessary conditions for a deadlock. For a deadlock to occur, all four of the following conditions proposed by E.G. Kaufman must be present simultaneously. To breaking any one of these conditions can prevent a deadlock. The first condition, mutual exclusion condition. That means a resource may be acquired exclusively by only one process at a time. Then the second condition, hold and wait condition, are sometimes called for wait for condition. That means a process that has acquired an exclusive resource may hold that resource while the process waits to obtain other resources. Then the third condition, no preemption condition. So once a process has obtained a resource, the system cannot remove it from the process control until the process has finished using the resource. See, if we remove voluntarily for the resources means that may be called as a preemption condition. Okay? Then the fourth one is two or more processes are locked in a circular chain in which each process is waiting for one or more resources that the next process in the chain it's holding. So this may be called as a circular wait condition. So because of those are necessary conditions, the existence of deadlock implies that each of them must be in effect. As we will see later, these observation helps us develop schemes to prevent deadlocks. Taken together, all four conditions are necessary and sufficient for deadlock to exist. If they are all in place, the system is deadlocked. So we need to break any one of these conditions. Then only the system will not suffer from deadlock. So to handling the deadlocks, we have 5 possibilities. There are 2 primary practical strategies to deal with the deadlocks. One is for prevention, which aims to negate one of the confound conditions. And avoidance is the second one, which is dynamically allocates resources to prevent future deadlocks. First, we discuss about the deadlock prevention. So this approach ensures that at least one of four necessary conditions for a deadlock never holds. So common techniques are include, first one is for breaking the mutual exclusion. So to break the mutual exclusion, that means allow sharing the resources where possible. So don't give only one process can utilize always the resources. So we need to give some mutual exclusion condition, then the process may share for the resources. So it may be a read-only files. Then to break hold and wait condition. So requires process to request all the necessary resources upfront or release all currently held resources before requesting new ones. That means we need to give the new request. At the time, the process may wait sometimes for holding the resources. Breaking no preemption. Allow the operating system to forcibly take resources away from a process. For example, revoking a printer request if it's held too long. Then we will break this condition to using some algorithms. Then next, breaking circular wait condition. Impose a total ordering of all resources, the types and required process to request the resources in increasing order. So among these four conditions, we need to break any one of the condition, then the situation may be called as a deadlock prevention. Then second one, deadlock avoidancy. So this method requires process to provide the information about their maximum resources needs to in advance. The system that makes dynamic decisions to ensure it remains in safe state. That means there is a sequence of process that can execute without deadlock. We have to use some algorithms to make a deadlock avoidancy. The very familiar algorithm for Banker's algorithm. The most famous deadlock avoidancy algorithm. It simulates the allocation of requested resources to a process, then check if the system would be in the safe state. If it is not, then the request is denied. So for using this Banker's algorithm, we have some benefits. So it's less restrictive than prevention as it allows for a greater concurrency. It will face some challenges, requires knowledge of future resources request, which is often difficult to obtain in real-world systems. Then for handling some other techniques for in the deadlock is nothing but deduction, recovery and ignorance. Beyond prevention and avoidance, the system can also detect deadlocks after they occur. The before two things we discussed in deadlock prevention and for deadlock avoidance, it may present in before the situation of deadlock occurrence. But now we have to say once the deadlock may occur, then how to solve the situation. So here we discuss three situations. First one is for deadlock detection. So this strategy involves allowing the deadlocks to occur, then periodically running an algorithm to detect their presence. Once detected, recovery mechanisms are employed. This often involves building a resource allocation graph and looking for the cycles. It is a very familiar method to use to deadlock detection. That's nothing but resource allocation graph. Then, if the deadlock is occur, then go for the deadlock recovery process. So after detecting, the system must recover for the deadlock. Common recovery methods include first one is for process termination. We just terminate the process, aborting one or more deadlock process to break the cycle. Then only the deadlock may released. Then second one, resource preemption. So resource preemption, forcibly taking the resources from some process and giving them to others until the deadlock cycle is broken. Then the last one, deadlock ignorance. So for the deadlock ignorance, this is the most straightforward but riskiest approach. Simply ignore the problem entirely. That means we just switch off the machine, then the process all should be terminated. But it's not a proper way. The assumption is that deadlocks are rare occurrence and the cost of prevention or detection outweighs the cost of occasional systems reboots. This is the common in many general purpose operating systems like Unix and Windows, where the user is expected to reboot if the system freezes. So these are the deadlock handling mechanisms. Thank you.